Well, hello, everyone. Oh, my goodness. Season 3 is all I can say. We have interviewed some people that have just going to blow your mind when this show comes out. I cannot wait myself for it to air. We always make the promise of bringing you interesting people that are doing wonderful things, people who are change agents, not just people who are just everyday, round the hill type people. We're talking about people that are really making impact. March is Women History. And so as you begin to watch my show, you'll notice that this month I am interviewing some amazing women. And I promise you not to disappoint you today. Today I have the honor of introducing and presenting to you all not just an amazing woman, but an amazing friend, an amazing confidant, an amazing person in the community that is just changing things in the Chambers County area by leaps and bounds. I want to welcome you, first of all, to this show again. You know, I always have to say thank you for allowing me to come in your homes, because if it wouldn't be for you, we wouldn't be having such a success that we're having. So thank you. Now, without further ado, I would love to introduce you to my friend, Miss Valerie Gray. Thank you so much, Valerie, for sitting down and talking to us today from the Chambers County Development Authority. Welcome you to Empowering Moments.
Oh, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Well, it's so good to have you. And when I was thinking about this season and women history, and I know I reached out to you and you kind of laughed like, I'm just doing my job. And I was like, well, people like me who are watching you do your job, every time something amazing happens with Chambers County, which is a small town, a lot of people would say rural area, and just to see some of the things that are coming. I know it takes a team of people, but we always have to have someone who's the face of the change. And you have become the face of that to bring out different things. So tell me about, what does that mean to you to know that you're the face of that?
Certainly I don't like to be that. I like to be behind the scenes. And any economic developer would tell you that is our job. Right. Our job is to be behind the scenes. And I guess to me, it makes it so important because it's my hometown. It's where I was, raised. I was born in Roanoke, but I was raised here. My parents built a small business empire here, and my mother is still here as well. So I love to be able to make change in the community that I grew up in and that my mother and father succeeded in.
Well, your mom she's a feisty little something. Still work. I remember meeting her like at Giverns, and it's one of the most welcoming grocery stores that I've been in. When I worked here in this area, I would always go down there, and they help the school system any way they can. And your brother Mikey and your family, and y'all are just such great people. So it could be easily for you guys, because you already were successful. You come from a successful home, to just say, hey, we have our success, but why is it so important for you for other people to be as equally successful? Because the way you bring jobs, and when you go out to recruit different things, people to come in here, you're always thinking about the other people. Why is that as important to you, knowing that you're already successful?
Well, I guess it's part of the way that I was raised. I love to win. Okay, let's choose to win. I love to win.
That's right.
I don't like surprises, and I love to win.
Right.
And I wanted to prove to my dad that I could do something other than the grocery business. It was always there. I started working in the grocery store when I was 10 years old.
Right.
They won't let you do that today.
No.
And so many things have changed, and it was an awesome childhood. I got to work in the meat department, the produce department, the bakery, and I wanted to see what else was out there. And what I tell a lot of people is what I remember the most when I was working at Giverns in West Point. On Thursdays, that's when everybody at West Point Pepperell got paid.
Wow.
And they would come in and get their checks cashed, and that was our busiest day.
Right.
When I went off to college, that's when a lot of the mills started laying off, and you come back home after, small periods of time, and you look at what it did to the community, and I'm like,
Absolutely.
I want to help rebuild.
Yes.
And that is what got me on the path of economic development. So,
well, you're definitely rebuilding, but I want to just piggyback off something you just said. And kids need to understand, you said, I got the opportunity to work. People don't see as working as an opportunity, and they should. It is a privilege to labor and have a labor of love the way that your parents allowed you. Yes, there is a store in Valley, but there's also a store in West Point. And so I just appreciate that. You doing the things that you're doing. I had the privilege of working with your children being a part of their life. Sydney and Sam, the sweetest kids, but you could tell they came from a background of labor of love. And your husband, now I know what he does, but tell us what Ms. Sean Gray does.
He is a professional land surveyor, and he owns half of a business with his business partner, Scott Harris, in West Point. So they do land surveying and professional engineering, civil engineering.
Yes,
Yep.
and we were very blessed that when my son was getting ready to go off to school or needed to do an intern, you allowed him to come learn so many things. And I'm always, it's just the family of Chambers County. It's just, you cannot, even though you may leave, even though you move on, I wasn't from here, I'm from Auburn, but it's like a family to me now. Even though I've moved on to another job, same profession, I still feel the root of love and family here. So, and it's thankful to people like you, your mom, a lot of the friends that we still are, I still, am involved with. So you're absolutely right. So Chambers County Development Authority, tell us, how did you end up in that job, and how long have you been here?
I have been here almost 25 years in January, so I just celebrated my 24th year. And I had to do, very much like Devin, I had to have an internship before I could graduate from Alabama. So I did an internship at the Chamber of Commerce in Lynette. During that internship period is when the economic developer, Danny Games, moved on to another job opportunity. So I thought it would be funny for me to interview with them. And they hired me. Oh my gosh, they hired me. It was the most intimidating, exciting time of my life, and I knew nothing about economic development. Absolutely nothing. I graduated in it in planning and geography and urban development and political science, but that feeling to know that you've entered the real world,
it's something.
And the checks were cut off from mom and dad. They were like, okay, girl,
that's your job.
You got a job. You're on your own, sister.
Well, it's funny you say that. I remember the first school I ever was a principal. I got the job, and then you wake up and say, now what?
Yeah, now
like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And you just walk in, and you just embrace the opportunity, like you definitely have. So you've moved into this wonderful building here. It is beautiful, y'all. Notice you have on the blue with the orange. You don't want to send the bad message, because you will yell Roll Tide, but you look real good in that orange and blue. I must tell you, and I hope Denise Clark is watching at this very moment and see what kind of impact I have on her friend, Thelma and Louise.
Yeah.
So, but how did y'all, this is so, why this area? Why right here?
Well, the city of Lynette, through many years of leadership, they developed a great relationship with our Senator Richard Shelby in Washington, D.C., and they developed great networking relationships with the Alabama Department of Transportation and the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA. And they secured about $18 million worth of federal funds to rehabilitate the airport here, which will hopefully be open in March. And we had the opportunity to purchase half of the building here and relocate our headquarters out here.
Well, it is extremely nice.
You.
We always love to come out here and visit this. So we talk about the development part. We talk about why jobs are important. You, as a young kid, was able to see that the meals were kind of disseminating. They were disappearing. And so as a young person, even though you said it was a exciting, fearful time, you also had a vision. So your children also are a part of the school system of Chambers County. Your husband works in this area, or y'all live from this area. Why is it important for you to see growth in Chambers County? What kind of things that you want to see as far as it is concerned? What do you see for Chambers County in 2 to 5 years?
I think one of the things that I've told a couple other people over the last week, we have released our 2021 report. And a couple of weeks ago, my coworker Chris Busby, we were talking about the mill site in Lynette. Like you've seen over the years, we finally purchased it, and we're starting to take it down and rehabilitate it back to either a green space or commercial space. One of the things I asked him the other day, I said, we need to apply for federal EPA grants. And he said, Valerie, that's going to take about 2 years. I said, yeah, and in 2020 we thought about it, and look where we would be now.
Right.
And that really struck with me over the last few weeks of 2 years have flown by. None of us anticipated a pandemic or whatever you want to call it. I mean, So it's amazing how God kind of just sits back and says, I'm going to throw y'all a curveball, and we're going to see how you do and how you respond. And there's no greater time than to apply for that grant than now. So
Right.
the people of the community of Lynette deserve it.
Right.
Our businesses deserve it. So it's going to be some hard work to do. So
and you're not a person who's by any means afraid of any hard work. I like what you just said there. Time just fly by. Some days are better than other days. You wake up one day and your life is changed and opportunities are missed. And you're right. 2 years from now will come and you're going to have applied, and it's a lot of work. There's a lot of training involved. But it does mean that what you said, the people deserve it. The children deserve it. I think you and I became professional friends before we became friends, but professional friends because we were concerned, both love education on different levels. You love what it'll produce. I love the legwork of it. So, of course, we had the opportunity to grow together concerning education. You guys are doing some amazing things, as what Mr. Casey Chamley is doing, and I say Mr. like he's not my boy, but Casey Chamley doing some amazing things here at your school, watching it grow. A lot of changes have taken place. So how do you feel about how that's going to impact even the school system and the jobs in the stores? Because Guthrie's, I'll say that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Like, you all have a Guthrie's right off the interstate. Man, how amazing was that spot? Because that's the first thing you see. I have to really pray when I pass by. I was like, Lord, don't need no fried food today, Lord. Help me, Jesus. But what are y'all are doing some amazing things. One thing I noticed that you all are doing with you in the area, and you're very transparent. I watched the video that you put out with my friend April Ross. You are very transparent. Like you said, ask me anything. I may not know the answer, but I'll get back to you, but don't be afraid to ask me. So with those type things, with what you're doing as far as how is it going to impact the education, more jobs for people? Because the meal, we have to be honest with you, that's a thing of the past. How are you all restructuring and re-evolving Chambers County?
I think we involve our mayors and commissioners and city council people. We have communication with them. We expect to hear back from them what their constituents and citizens want for the area. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you said through education, I like the end product. Yes, that's our future workforce.
Right.
I'm not a teacher. I'm not an educator. I can't imagine what educators are going through now, and I hear so much. But there comes a point in time where us business people have to partner with our educators and to make sure that product that they turn out is successful students. The legwork that you guys have to do, incredible. I do the legwork afterwards, okay? The 18-hour days, the communicating with international companies on different time zones. That's my job. Your job is to educate and love our kids, and we should be there to help you guys. So,
well, you do, and I, honestly, that's the first thing you said. What can we do? You have always said, how can we partner to produce a good product? Because we're very wise, and I think this used to be taboo to say everybody is not going to 4-year college. People used to feel as though you're putting kids down. No, that's not what's being said. We're saying, and some people are saying, the wonderful lady I interviewed even on yesterday, she has a one-on-one technical college, and it even allows kids to come in their last semester of their high school year to see if that's the path they want. Do they want to go into that? And with the Aspire Academy that Chambers County has, it allows kids to dip their toe, like my grandmama used to say, in a water that may change their trajectory. What they may think they want to do, they may get out here and realize that they don't want to do that. They want to make some changes. So I've always, you have hard conversations, and that's what people need to understand. We are in a time now where it's uncertain, but we all have to come together and play our role. No, you're not an educator, but I can tell you what, I bet every teacher knows who you are by the times that you'll bring maybe just a biscuit by, or maybe y'all will get together and fix some lunch. Or see, people don't understand. The Bible clearly says it's the small foxes that destroy the vines. So small things could either make or break you. So we can't discount the fact that you're looking for the product that you can put to work. And if we don't change something about how we're producing the product And that's where you come in. You come in and say, hey, we need you to send us this, and this has to happen so they can be these people. So kudos to you for doing that. I heard you mention on your video a job force that's coming here, a company I think that is coming here. Is it maybe already here or is on the way? Is there any new companies that's going to be locate here soon, or somebody that's here? Or
Well, John Souls Foods is a food manufacturer, and they have just opened up in August of 2021. They've got nearly 500 employees now. We've got a lot of our companies that are expanding, so pretty much everyone is hiring right now.
Yes.
And everybody has a role.
Right.
I don't think now any role should be diminished,
Right.
because we expect customer service. We want to pay for it. Well, if those lower end jobs are not being paid well, then we need to step up our game to make sure that we receive that customer service. So there's a role for everybody.
Right.
My daughter's 17. She's getting ready to graduate. She really doesn't know what she wants to do, and I'm like, that's okay.
You're
you know?
17, yeah.
Don't go waste 4 years of my money on college tuition if you don't know what you want to do.
Right.
Let's find your pathway. And I do believe in, if you love what you're doing, you'll never get up and go to work every day.
Definitely. And you know what? I tell you, that's exactly right. I think children, on some level, is a direct passion of mine. Some people often ask me, "How do you do it?" Well, it's easy. I was
It's your
graced to.
calling.
Yes, it's my calling to do it. I love what you said about even your baby. You are an educated 4-year, 5-year, maybe multiple degree woman, but you said, hey, listen, I'm going to let you make your own decision. If you choose your path, and to have that kind of relationship with your parent that can say, hey, I can make a mistake. And I think that's another thing that we need to make sure. Children are going to make mistakes.
Yes.
It's our job as adults to try to come in and soften the blow, not to fix it, but to make sure it doesn't cripple them. That it doesn't derail their plan, their future. Let them fall a little bit. Let them leave the baseball field without the trophy. You know, that's my mantra this year in 22. Don't give them all a trophy.
Oh, God.
Let them work for it. Let them know that it is not easy. You're going to have to work. And I think we've taken that certain parts of it away. And if we come together, if we listen to the parents, if we listen to the kids, if we listen to the teachers, and the reason why I'm saying that is because you may not even realize what you just said. You said we expect to hear from our people, our political people, when we come to them with something, concerns from the community. You say you expect an answer. You want them to say, this is what we're dealing with. How can you help the people? You're such a people person. What else do you think? How can we help as just educators or people in the community? Because Chambers County is growing it is growing and doing great things. I passed by here, some of the buildings I know you saying y'all trying to acquire. They're probably going to want to tear some down, want to build some up. Oh, I saw that coming into Alabama, they just reconstructed the rest area.
Yes.
How amazing is that? Let's
Yes.
talk about that a bit.
The governor was here a couple weeks ago to do a ribbon cutting for the new Welcome Center. I
Right.
don't know how much money, but it was millions of dollars.
Right.
And it is, to set the impression of welcome to Alabama, I think that is the perfect place. And you touched on Guthrie's too, and just from an economic development standpoint, I want people to understand that when you're driving 85 South, you may be headed to the beach, you may be headed to bigger and better places, but when you cross that line and you see Alabama and you see Guthrie's right there, you get off the interstate, you go to Guthrie's. Well, it's easy to just hit the raceway and get some gas and fill up and do everything. So now you've created a small economic engine right there, instead of people going on or someone, and you know, I hate to say this, but turn left and spend all their money in Valley. We got to distribute that wealth equally. So it's put Lynette on a level playing field.
Well, you're right about that. The reason we travel sometimes, and it does make a difference where we get off, depending on how far the gas station is or how far the restaurant is.
How well lit it is.
How well lit it is, how clean it is. Well, for me, how quick I can get on and get off. And so a welcome center, and I did say rest area because you know my husband is in a in the trucking
Yeah.
business, and he uses those kind of places to rest. And you can't rest long, but I want him in a place where it's safe. I want him in a
Sure.
place where it's well lit. And I'm sure that people coming from north to come to south, they get to see how nice of an area that is. So you have two beautiful daughters, two of my favorite people. How is Chambers County? How do they feel about it? Because we know how you feel about it, how strong you are attached to it. Your sweet mother, you wanted to show your dad I can do something. And we do not want to send a message that kids who work for their parents, you got to prove them some type of way. I don't hear that, but I want to clear that up. You wanted to say, listen, I've had this great opportunity, and most people will just take that opportunity and ride it. Hey, if that's what they want to do, but not the Valerie Grays, and I'm sure not the Sams and not the Sydneys. How does watching you be who you are, how do you think that impacts them?
Oh, well, I think it's hard on them, and I think it's great for them. It's twofold. From me, the good part, I hope they see how much I love Chambers County and how much I give back. Okay, I'm not one to go out there. I don't get on Facebook and quote Bible verses and stuff like that. I do things from the goodness of my heart for the right reasons. They see it a lot more. I don't have to tell them.
Right.
So you taught me that a long time ago. You can tell your kids all day long what to do, but they watch more than anything.
You better hear me.
Yep. The downside is everybody knows me, so everybody knows them, and they can't get away with anything.
But I bet if you asked Devin and Jessica the same thing, she'd put a post up said, "Is there anybody whose mom, what is something about speaks to the entire community?"
Oh yeah.
She was like, "My mama."
Yeah.
Because that's who we are as a person. And we say it may be a downside because everybody knows us, but it teaches them too that we treat all people the same. One thing that they have learned from Valerie Gray and Frankie Bell is, and our children get to watch us, no matter how hard we're hit, we always choose to win. Like we don't believe in the low road. Some days are better than others. Sometimes when there's things, I'm sure they hear things. I mean, when you are a change agent, you're going to be hit with mediocre people can't handle people of greatness. And women like yourself who are making a strong change, sometimes we get the back end of people who don't want to do anything with them. They talk the loudest. So I'm sure it's hard for them, but it's also giving them tough skin. I know your daughters. I know they're tough. I know some of the things that they've had to endure, and I know how their conversation is about it. I remember one day we were giving out some gift cards at the school, and how amazed your daughter was. Like, I think she won a gift card, but she wanted to give it back. So we didn't discriminate. Like, long as you met the criteria, you got a card. But she didn't want to take the card. She wanted to give it back, to give to someone else, because she could get, it wasn't but $5. And it wasn't about the fact that it was only $5. She'd rather do what she see her mom does and to bless others. She didn't make a big deal out of it. She didn't tell me in front of the kids. She just came in and say, can I just give mine back so you can give it to somebody else? Just like you, just like what you just described. You don't have to make a big deal about it. You don't have to shout. You got your good friend Frankie Bell to shout, all the shouting, kind of, because I'll do all the shouting. Sometimes I always say, Lord, help me, Lord.
Yeah.
But so she's watched that in you. So that brings me to, and then we're going to give everybody the opportunity to, before we exit, to tell us anything else you want the world to know about Chambers County. Anything else you want them to know. Let them know why Chambers County. If they're looking for a place to put their jobs, why here?
So part of my sales pitch is our location on 85. We have this wonderful airport that will be open in March, 5,400 feet. That will be larger than the Auburn-Opelika Regional Airport. And we have about 1,500 acres of available industrial land directly across from the interstate. We have housing opportunities going up in both communities. And then we have the beautiful downtown historic city of Lafayette, who's undergoing a transformation with the Main Street program. Anything you want as a parent to raise your kid here, it's here. Probably one of my greatest accomplishments is my children, and we all like to brag on our kids, and they will disappoint us, but I think probably the greatest thing for me has not been a lawnmower parent. Don't move everything out of the way,
Right.
so that they can't fail. But if you want diversity, I think Chambers County is the place to be. You've got excellent private schools. You've got excellent public education.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I agree with you. I have this book right
Yeah.
here, sitting down, and I want everybody to see it. And I've talked about it a couple weeks. That's coming out. It's called Leaders Shift. This is a proof copy. That's what it says, not for resale. But I have to let people know the respect I have for you. I needed somebody to do the forward for this book for me because I was going through a tough time. I knew I was shifting as a leader, and of course you said no. And I left you alone for like 2 months, but then I came back and I said, and did throw God on you. I was like, Valerie, listen, I've tried, but God said you. And when they get this book and they read this forward, it brought me to tears. It brought the outside readers to tears. It brought everybody to tears.
It brought me to tears.
So you'll get the opportunity to be able to see and get this and read what she says. So I just thank you, Valerie. I appreciate you so much for coming. And again, I thank all of you. Thank you for watching. And if you have a show, please go to our website, fnfministries.org. And remember, if you have a decision and if you need to make a choice, we know what to do, don't we, Valerie?
Yes,
we always do what? Choose to win.